First episode. Yeah, we feeling good, man. Yeah, man. Just read the description, kind of give you a basis of what we got going on here. I just want to give a fresh, unique kingdom take on a lot of these things and these discussions and topics that we're gonna be talking about. Real talk, kingdom truth. Let's go. So, anyways, I was watching an episode of Fresh and Fit this morning, or a clip from Fresh and Fit this morning. Look, it intrigued me because I wanted to speak to a couple points inside of this video where a lot of people, women especially, don't understand how a man views things, and so especially younger, modern, if you will, woman. So I just want to dive into that and just get my fresh take on a few pinpoints that I want to do. I think it's 3 or 4 pinpoints I want to touch on. And so I'm gonna let you see a little bit of the clip, and then I'm gonna jump in here.
Sitting here trying to talk about me and what I got going on. Y'all don't know shit about what I got going on.
Oh, we know everything about you, all right?
Okay, clearly you do. Clearly you do. Okay.
What I'm saying is that your dream man isn't in the situation. If he was,
no,
you'd be in a
he's
relationship
not.
with him.
He's not. No,
okay.
That's what I'm saying. I choose to be single because I haven't found the right man.
What I want to talk about is this rhetoric, this statement that I hear so many women say. Single by choice, right? And I think that it has to do with a lot of things what makes them believe that that is a reality has to do with a number of things that I guess we're going to unfold and unravel as we get into this. I think that it's a number of things that make them believe that this narrative of single by choice is real and that it's true, right? So as far as this girl that he's speaking with in the video, this is a strip club worker / sex worker / IG model, if you will, right? Which is, to be honest, when we talk about ages like 20 to like 25, it's a good population of women who fall in that category, or who desire to be in that category, because that is a way to come up. OnlyFans, stripping, things like that. It's fast money. It's a way to come up. So she says she's single by choice. Now, we have to look at this, right? Who are the type of people, first of all, who is she coming into contact with? Who is she, what type of man is she going to be around? Now, if she's working at a strip club, we know there are men there to pay for a good time. If she's in sex work, it's the same thing, right? Someone who is willing to pay for a good time. Now, what they desire out of you is a good time. They don't desire anything else. Now watch this. These are the men that she wants, right? These are the men that she wants. The man that she doesn't want, is the men that aren't really coming out of their pocket, but still want to have sex with her, right? She's kind of built up this thing where in her mind, men equal money, right? So whatever money I get out of a man, that's what makes sense, right? And if I don't get money out of a man, it doesn't make sense. What happens is the men that are giving her money are the men she wants to be with. Why? Because she wants the continuous experience of getting money from them, right? But those men, most of the time, are already in relationships. People that go to strip clubs are most times already in relationships, some in marriages, right? Even men who go sleep with prostitutes are in marriages or relationships. This is just something they want as a fling. And so what happens is you're good for a fling for a while. But what happens is you start to lose value in that space because nobody beats Father Time. And that's what I kind of want to segue into next. So when the statement is made, the men you want don't want you, that's kind of what's going on there, right?
Like the guys that you want don't want you back.
But I'm still
you want the men that you want to be a provider for you or take care of you. Those type of men are not going to want you as a wife. They're going to want you for sex, but you have to understand this. And this is what I want to segue into. What I look for in a hoe is not what I look for in a wife. I'm looking for something different. In a hoe, I'm looking for a good time where nothing else is attached. With a wife, I'm actually looking someone to build with, to create with, to grow with. And because of that, I want my wife, I want to see her as somebody is sacred, right? Now, she doesn't have to be a virgin, for me personally, right? That would be great, I guess, if she was. But she doesn't have to be a virgin, but there has to be a sacredness to her, right? A set apartness to her, right? So while you're currently doing sex work, it is impossible for someone to see you as a wife. It is impossible for someone to, now watch this. That doesn't mean that it's impossible for somebody to wife you. But watch this. Even the person that tries to wife you isn't going to see you as a wife, right? They're going to try to turn a hoe into a housewife, right? Because they know right now, currently, you're not a housewife. I'll try to train you into that. Because a man could look at it like this. A man will look at it like, dang, she cold. She's so cold. I'll try to make her a housewife. That's where the saying comes from. You can't turn a hoe into a housewife. That's what that saying comes from. So a man would be like, dang, she's so cold. I'll try to make her a wife. But the saying is the same, right? So this is where I really want to segue into this. What I'm looking for in a wife and what I'm looking for in a hoe is two different things. And as long as you're operating in that sex work strip club, you don't even possess, I'm not even seeing it. I'm not even looking for wifely qualities in you, right? Because you're there to entertain everybody. If you're a sex worker, I know that you've slept with a number of people today. We're not even talking about ever. We're talking about today. So obviously I'm knowing, hey, I'm not about to transform this into that. And if I do, I know that I have to transform her into this, right? Some guys, call them simps, whatever you want to call them, right? Whether I agree or not, it doesn't even matter. Some guys will attempt, to transition this hoe into a housewife. But most guys are going to say, hey, it's going to take up too much of my time unless I get her, and then she immediately stops doing everything she's doing. And 9 times out of 10, a hoe is more than just attracted to the money. They're attracted to the life as well. I seen one show, I think it was on the At Whatever podcast, where she was like, hey, what if you had enough money? He said to the girl, if you had enough money where you didn't have to do sex work anymore, would you still do sex work? And she said yes. So it lets you know that it's even just deeper than money. It's also the lifestyle as well, because once you start getting the money, you start to fall in love with the lifestyle. It becomes an addiction, right? It's the same way you could say, well, how can someone be addicted to gambling if they're always losing? Because they're addicted to the lifestyle that comes with it, right? Those days where you get a big win, you get a big score, whatever. It's the same thing with that. They're addicted to the lifestyle of it, even though it's not always a win for them. When they do get that win, when they do get that dopamine hit, when they do sleep with somebody that paid them $2,000, $3,000, they like, dang, it's the life for me. So it's hard to turn that into a wife. Like, women actually have to be trained up to be a wife. They have to see an example of a wife. And because most women aren't seeing that example, they're not even, they have zero clue what a man wants or what he's looking for in a wife. And so they'll maybe just thinking, hey, I can find a husband doing this. Why? Because there's a whole bunch of dudes shooting at me. Which, when she said, hey, you're going to see a part, I'm about to play it now, where she says, hey, I have options, but I don't want any of them. And then he says, they're not real options, though.
What strip club
They're
do you work at?
options. None of your business.
Yeah, but they're not real options.
Right? He says they're not real options. So what she's saying is, there's a bunch of guys who are shooting at me and sharking at me. Watch this. It may even be guys that are saying, hey, I want to sleep with her. Like, hey, I want to marry her. It may be guys that are saying that to you, right? It might even be somebody that proposes to you. But this is the thing. There might even be a guy who marries you. But this is the thing. If he marries you, his expectation for you is going to change immediately, right? There's no way he's going to marry you, and he's going to let you continue to do sex work and strip club work. Right? And that's the fallacy that they have. The fallacy that they have is I'm going to find somebody who's going to do everything for me, but is also cool with me doing this. And that's the delusion. That's the delusion. He then segues into, and I want to speak on this, I'm going to let you see this really quick. He then segues into a woman who does sex work or strip club works. Sexual marketplace value is the same as a homeless dude.
A woman that's a sex worker or is involved in certain professions is the equivalent to a homeless dude.
Misogyny.
Done. Very simple. You have the same sexual market value as a homeless dude. You wouldn't want to fuck with that homeless dude because he's a loser, he hasn't worked on himself, doesn't have a place to live, etc. A woman that's a sex worker, you guys are on the same level from a female perspective.
I completely disagree with that. But I will agree with what I think he was trying to say. I think he was trying to say a woman's marital marketplace value is the same as a homeless man's sexual marketplace value. Right? That makes sense, right? Because it's almost going to be impossible for you to get married as a hoe. And it's definitely going to be impossible or close to impossible for a homeless man to propose, unless he's proposing to another homeless person, a homeless lady. For him to be, for him to get a wife, right? So it's about the same. Now, because watch this. The sexual marketplace value for a hoe is high. This is where her value is the highest on the sexual marketplace because she's already operating and working, doing sex work for money, right? So we don't have to even think about what our sexual market-based value is because people are paying for it. You know, you got people doing OnlyFans that's millionaires. You got sex workers that's millionaires, 6 figures, 7 figures. So we got to understand, like, your value on the sexual marketplace is going to be high, but on the marital marketplace value, it's going to be very low. Now, this is what happens. Watch this. Believe it or not, your marital marketplace value can stay high even into your 40s, plus 40 plus, 50s. Even when your sexual marketplace value goes down, right? How though? And why is it rare that women get married past a certain age? The reason that it's rare that women get married past a certain age is because once women get it all together, it almost becomes like nobody's qualified for them. Have you ever seen any of the videos where like Kevin Samuel is talking to a young lady or slightly older lady, and you ever see him talk to somebody who got like 3 or 4 kids, right, and has never been married, and then they say at 37 years old or 42 years old that they're now abstaining from sex into a marriage. And he's like, what? What do you mean? Have you ever been married? No. How many baby dads you got? 3. So this next dude is going to come behind you having 3 baby daddies and 4 kids, and you're gonna tell him he can't get none until y'all married? So it's these type of standards that get set after a woman's whole days are over. Watch this. When somebody could still actually want to marry them, but now what happens is their standards have become inflated to a point where nobody meets them. And this is why you'll see on a lot of old Kevin Samuel's video, you'll find women who say that if they talk to a guy who's making the same amount of money as them, they're settling. Or slightly under them, they're settling. Like if he was talking to a lady that made $60,000, she would say, if a guy makes $40,000, I don't want to settle for that. He needs to make double what I make or triple what I make. Why? Why would he need to make that? You're 37 years old. You're single. Your sexual marketplace value isn't where it used to be, meaning that it's not like it's not like he's seeing you like, dang. Watch this. Let me just make this clear. Do you think that in every relationship that exists, or every marriage, do you think that that person thinks that that the person they're with, is the best looking person in the world? Do you think that that person thinks that it's even the best sex they ever had? No, it's probably not true like a lot of the times. So watch this. If you're older and you're getting to that place where, all right, I need these standards to be met, understand that a man may not even be pursuing you for sex as one of those things to where it's like, dang, I just really want to have sex with her. No, a man may just be pursuing you for sex because, well, you're the person he's talking to. He doesn't want to pursue anybody else for sex. He wants to just pursue you for sex. So for you to then say, hey, now I'm going to chill. I'm not going to have sex till I'm married. After you have 4 kids and have never been married, and 3 baby dads, you're playing with that man. You're playing with yourself. I say this all to say because this is what happens when you see young ladies inside of this lifestyle. They operate in this lifestyle up into 25, 30, 35. And then it's at that point where now you got 6 kids, 5 baby dads, and now you celibate. This is why you're going to be single for life. This is why you'll never find someone that takes you serious. Because who's taking that serious? Who's taking it serious that you got 5 kids, 6 baby dads, and now you telling me you celibate to a marriage? What? Are you crazy? So it's this delusion. So going back to the original point, yeah, the sexual marketplace value is high for a hoe. That's where her value is the highest. The marital marketplace value is almost non-existent, right? You almost have no value there because what men are looking for there, you don't meet the qualifications. But you meet all of the qualifications of what I'm looking for in a good time or a fling, right? And like I said, it gets to that point where, hey, now I'm ready to settle down. I'm ready to change my life. And it's not that you can't do it. It's that your standards is just too crazy. Your standards is too wild. You don't have that, not that many fish in the sea anymore, right? He might not be no 10 out of 10 in looks. Might be a 6 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10. Might not have no muscular build physique. Might not be tall. Might be short. He might need help sometimes. Whatever it is. That's why you're supposed to be looking for marriage when you're in your 20s. You're supposed to be finding a husband in your 20s. Because once you get to 30s, 40s, you have inflated standards that don't match anything but how you feel about the experiences you had. And those experiences are not going to be pushed onto my belief system. See, another thing that makes him wrong about what he's saying is he's talking about it from the standpoint of your friends making fun of you, right? And that's just not, and that illustration just isn't true, right? And this is the reason why. There are famous adult film stars, let's call them. There are famous adult film stars that certainly right now, if one of my bros was like, hey man, guess what I'm smacking? And they say one of these famous porn stars' names, the bros are gonna give him accolades for that. The bros are gonna give him applause for that. They're gonna be like, hey, you really smashing her? For real. Now, watch this. It may be a different outcome if he says he wifed her, but surely saying, hey, I smacked that. They'd be like, oh yeah, that's crazy. That's a crazy list to have on your resume. That's a crazy person to have on your list /resume. But it's not going to be the same for a homeless dude. Like, there's nothing, because he said sexual marketplace. There's nothing to brag about sleeping with a homeless dude. Like, there's nothing to brag about at all, right? A homeless dude probably doesn't have great hygiene, or it's nothing you can say. But on the other side, if it's a really famous hoe, you know what I'm saying? That's famous for being a hoe, 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, everybody then lusted over already anyways. So watch this. Even inside of that, it still is somebody we want to be like, yeah, I smashed that. And it's the same for it's the same for any hoe, right? Because if you mess with hoes, you're living the lifestyle of messing with hoes. I done lived the lifestyle of messing with hoes before. I done lived the lifestyle, you know, with the hoes. So when I'm messing with hoes, if I had sex with a hoe, that's going to be something that I'm going to get congratulated about, right? Even if she got smacked by this, that, and the third, if she cold, if she a bad, I smashed. Yeah, oh yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, wow. If a bunch of females pull up and they see a homeless dude on the corner, she's not gonna be telling her friends, "Hey, I smashed that." Of course not. She'd be embarrassed. I'm not gonna be embarrassed about smashing a bad hoe. I'll be embarrassed about wifing one, but I'm not gonna be embarrassed about smashing one. So there is no embarrassment and there is no making fun of a man who slept with something bad. Now, unless you got something you can't get rid of or something like that, there is not going to be any embarrassment from me smacking something bad. So that's not a good comparison at the end of the day. And this is how I want to summarize everything, right? I want to summarize by saying this. When it comes to younger females in this space who are operating as a hoe, you know what I mean? Strip clubs, sex work, all of these things. And I know it's a lot of women that do it. When it comes to that, you have to understand this. You only have so long before the appeal of sex isn't there the way that it used to be, right? Once you get into 40s, 50s, the sex appeal, meaning the way that you can appeal to me just off the fact that I want to have sex with you, that's not going to be there as prevalent as it was anymore. At that time, you're going to think, hey, raise my standards. When in fact, your marketplace value for sexual and marital, sexual for sure has went down, but marital has probably gone down too, just from the fact that you have so many standards. So I guess if there was any advice here, any kingdom advice, it would say, hey, find a husband young. Find a husband before you're 25, before you're 35, before you're 45. Or be okay with being single, right? Be okay with being single. But don't be okay with being single when you have to be okay with being single, right? Because that's something else. You're content with being single because you can't get a man, or a man does not want to pursue you as a wife. That's a different thing. So let go of this single by choice narrative so that you can actually operate in a way that positions yourself to get a husband. I'm out. Steady preaching.